So about a week or maybe a little bit longer, I made a video about the situation in Chaz or Chop or whatever they're calling it now. I spoke about a dude who was accused of being a member of Antifa or a communist or some sort of traitor. The reason I spoke about this was because the guy reached out to me after Mr. Guns and Gear made a video talking about that, claiming that he was a traitor and a terrorist or a communist, whatever it is. And he was holding to the fact that he was not those things, and that he is not Antifa, he is not a communist, and that he was just there to provide security. And while I still kind of believe that he can be there and not necessarily be one of those things, I've had a lot of time to think, and I wanted to issue a clarification and an update. Ultimately, while I disagree with the claims about the dude's actions and his role being involved there, after having more conversations with people, I've realized that any involvement with that zone or with that area that isn't actively working towards getting rid of it or dismantling it is wrong. Anything that's involved with that zone that I have said many times that I do disagree with, anything involved with it that isn't actively trying to end it, I ultimately think is wrong. I think the idealistic mentality of him wanting to be there to keep people from being violent, kind of trying to be the peacekeepers in that situation, sounds good on paper, but ultimately I think what it does is it leads to the further stability and furthering the cause. Whether or not he's intentionally trying to promote and help the people that are currently taking hostage an entire city or an entire portion of a city, I think that him providing that is aiding and abetting to it. Whether or not he agrees with or whether or not he wants to say that he's supporting those people, ultimately he's providing support indirectly, and that is, in essence, guilt by association. And because I feel so strongly against the entire zone, what it is, the violence that's been going on, the forcible nature at which they took over it from non-consenting businesses and people that lived in the area, I really can't support that. And while I still disagree that he's a legitimate member of Antifa or a communist, after having these conversations with people that were rational and civil and having conversations with me as opposed to just being a dick on the internet, I really do appreciate that we were able to have those conversations, because I've realized that, again, I'm going to say this again, anything involved with Chaz that is not, or Chop, I guess is what they're calling it now, anything involved with that area that isn't in the effort of dismantling it and allowing peace to restore to that area is wrong. And even if he's only there to provide help or support to people that are there, regardless of whether or not he agrees with it, that is still supporting the people that have violently taken over an entire block or 6-block region. And because it's providing that benefit to them, he is assigning himself a role, and he is aligning with those people. And I know people have been quick to say, well, Antifa stands for anti-fascist, so that must mean you're pro-fascist by being against this. Well, it's really not that simple. You can't just call yourself the anti-bad guy club and ultimately you're the good guys. The means at which these groups have, or these movements have taken over, I really just don't agree with at all. And it's not even about anti-fascism. It's about violently taking over and trying to put some sort of weird communistic rule over an area, when really that's not all I'm about. So you can be against Antifa and not be pro-fascism. So let's just get that right out of the way. Now, on top of this guy being associated with that and me coming to the realization that you can't really be there in any capacity that's not dismantling it and say that you're not supporting them, the dude left his gear, including his AR-15, his handgun, and all his Gucci gear, his chest rig and that stuff, with someone that lived nearby who he said he thought he could trust. That person stole his gear because he was irresponsible enough to leave it with someone he should not have trusted. Because of that, another firearm is out on the streets because of his actions. That is something that I absolutely cannot support, and that's a big reason why I'm making this retraction, is because the irresponsible actions of this dude is leading to a furthered environment of violence that is occurring at Chaz or Chop or whatever the hell they really want to call it. and he's now given a gun to a criminal because of his own dumb actions. And really, I just have to denounce myself from that completely. I'm going to put the previous video on private so that more people don't get exposed to my wrong think, I guess it is called. And I really just wanted to retract that and apologize for that. Ultimately, I can't stand up for the guy. Whether or not I agree that he is Antifa or a communist, it doesn't matter. What he's done and what he's participated in is something that I can't agree with. So because of that, I gotta denounce all support and standing up forness, I guess I gave him. So ultimately, that's my feelings on it. If Mr. Guns and Gear saw that video, which I doubt because I'm just some nobody on the internet, ultimately, I know that that probably didn't do anything negative to him, but if it did, I apologize for that. I mean, the guy's one of the most respected YouTubers on the platform when it comes to guns, so ultimately I think he will be fine, but if it did affect him in any way, I do apologize for that. And I think that it was wrong of me to call him out because the pretense that I was saying is wrong, because for me to say, hey, you shouldn't go out that without all the information, even if he isn't Antifa or a communist, ultimately he is still supporting bad people. So because of that, I have to completely retract all the words that I said. And you can't take anything off the internet, truly, but I want to clarify my stance as it is now. Thank you again to everyone that had a rational conversation with me, and I do appreciate that. I appreciate everyone that had the conversations with me. I appreciate everyone that engages in conversations in general. I want to say thank you to everyone that supports this channel through liking, commenting, subscribing, even in times when you disagree with me. It's fine to disagree on the internet. If you come at me with a respectful tone, I will listen. Now, if you type a 500-page essay in a comment section with absolutely no spaces or periods or paragraphs, I'm not going to read that. If you come at me and lead with insults and try to be a dick, I'm not going to listen to your point of view, even if I might agree with it. So let's just keep that in mind. Ultimately, I want to say thank you to everyone that supports the channel in any way, shape, or form, but I also want to say thank you to everyone on the Patreon. I want to say thank you to Nathan, Omar, Jackson, Big Sexy Bastard, and Glock Fairy. You guys really rock. I appreciate everyone on the Patreon. There is a $1 tier if you want to join the Discord so that you can gain access to all the other channels. I'm going to leave a link to the Discord down below that anyone can join for free, but it's only good for the first 25 people that click on it. So if you want to get in on that, get in on it fast. You guys know the drill, though. As always, have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.